If it's backwards, I'm sorry. It says, I'll have the usual. There's this restaurant in Tahoe called Red Hut. We love going there. Good old fashioned diner breakfast. Scrambled eggs, everything. Biscuits and gravy. So I promised you guys a military story. I keep thinking of it, and then I just forget to tell it. So I'm going to tell it. So in the Air Force base where I was stationed, I say that with a sneer, we had a flight line that all the squadrons, I want to say there was about 10 to 12 squadrons on that base. So once a week, a different squadron would take turns doing what's called a FOD walk. FOD, F-O-D, foreign object debris. So when you're out in the middle of South Dakota and there's wild animals, there's sticks, there's stones, and there's grass, branches, trash, things like that, and it's very windy out in Rapid City. It's very windy at Ellsworth Air Force Base. So when things get blown around and it ends up on the flight line, some of that debris can be destructive to the jets when the bombers fly off or in. So the bomber jets are basically B-1 bomber jets. They use 4 F-16 jet engines. And if you've ever seen the turbine propulsion of a jet engine on a B-1 bomber, it sucks everything in for the front and just shoots it out the back, which is not, it's not going to destroy the jet engine right away, but the more often things hit at it, bend it, nick it, just kind of wear and tear eventually. So to mitigate that, different squadron once a week would do a FOD walk. FOD walk is where your whole squadron shows up at the flight line. Y'all start at one end and y'all line up side by side. And rain, shine, wind, heat, snow, miserable, wonderful, it doesn't matter. Your ass is walking the entire flight line. I was never thrilled about it, even on a nice day. I just didn't want to be out there on the flight line. So there's some people that have bags, and everybody starts slowly walking forward in a straight line. And if you see any debris, you pick it up, you throw it in the bag, all the way down. It's just a way of cleansing the whole flight line of stuff. Part 2 to this story are the rabbits out in South Dakota. Bunnies are so cute. They're adorable. They're round, they're little, they got these cute little eyes and a little nose that just kind of makes it a little, and they've got these floppy ears. South Dakota rabbits don't look like that. They look like wild dogs. And you know it's a rabbit. The thing stands about 2.5 to 3 feet tall. That's including the ears, right? And they've got these devil goat eyes that just stare into your soul. And it freaked me out because they were talking about the wildlife that's out there. It briefed us on it when we first moved, and I thought, oh, rabbits, oh, cool. Then I remember looking out the back window, and I saw this thing that looked like a quadruped that hopped, and I was like, I remember looking, and I told my ex, I'm like, is that somebody's dog? But it had a weird big end, the butt end, and then it stood up. And it stood up and just looked right at us with, I'm sorry, they have that one side, they have eyes on each side, and that one goat eye was looking at me, and I was like, oh my God, that's a rabbit. But I think out there they call them like hares or something. It was not cute, okay? And they're big. So imagine a dog-sized animal somehow dies and body ends up on the flight line. It's dry, it's hot, it might have been run over a couple times, and then it starts to dehydrate, and then it's there. So it happened to be straight in my path in front of me, and we're walking, and we have gloves, so Yay, I'm glad. And I remember my friend Benny, she's like, oh, I'm so glad I got the bag. And I was like, what? Why? And then I saw it. She has the bag so she can hold it. I have the gloves so I can pick it up. And I was like, that's all right. That's fine. I'll pick this thing up. And I was kind of looking at it, and it was kind of like, I think it actually got run over a couple times because it was kind of bowed upwards. In the middle of the body, the thickest part of the body was about a couple inches thick left over. And it was just kind of on the ground, like in a bowl shape. And I was looking at it, and I figured I'll grab it by the ears and just pick it up and put it in, right? Less is more. I grabbed this thing by the ears on the ground, and I started to lift it, and I heard this crunch, like a and the whole head came off. It was a flat head, and I was like, Benny! And I was trying to put it in the bag, and she's like, oh! She's like grossing out, and she's like, pick up the rest of it. I'm sitting here chasing her with the head. I'm like, give me the bag. And I'm just like, oh, we're both stressing out. Here, the rest of the flight's looking over at us like we're retarded. But we are both city girls, and this is just, I'm like, I've got this demon head. It was horrible. And how did I pick up the rest of the body? We literally had to use our boots and kick it off of the pavement because it had dried. The center part had dried to the pavement, and it was pretty much stuck. So we're like with our boots, and it came apart in one piece, thank God. I mean, it just popped off after a few minutes of that. But then I had to pick up the rest of it and put it in the bag. And as if things weren't bad enough, we finally finished the FOD walk. We're all loading bags into the dumpster. Captain goes, all right, who wants lunch? I think he did that on purpose because he saw us freaking out. But that's the military for you. Don't show them your vulnerabilities, because they will just ride that, and they will make it worse. So that's my FOD walk story. And coffee will make it better. All right, guys, I have a couple more. I'll make a couple more a little later, but thanks for listening. Love you guys.